Next on the news, pro-lifers keeping the faith on the streets of New York despite the recent passing of Prop 1, a pro-abortion measure. Bishops from across the country converging in Baltimore for their annual fall plenary assembly. The national correspondent for the Tablet and Crux, John Lavenburg, is there with the latest. Plus, a New Jersey priest will soon enter into a different type of service, guiding the men and women in the Navy as their chaplain. I'm Katie Vasquez. Currents News starts right now. A major pro-life loss in New York as the abortion capital of the country recently voted to enshrine the procedure into the state's constitution. But pro-lifers in the city are continuing the fight, saying their defense of the unborn won't be deterred.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee.
Pro-life activists were out on the city streets this weekend, continuing the fight for life despite the recent passing of a pro-abortion measure.
It's unfortunate that the majority of the population, especially in New York, don't kind of understand what abortion actually does, especially to the woman. It's murder of an unborn child, and we've been trying to get that message out there.
Hail Mary, full of grace.
Last Tuesday, more than 60% of voters in New York said yes to Proposition 1, a measure that enshrines abortion on demand with no restrictions at any point during pregnancy into the state's constitution. Although disappointed by the outcome, Witness for Life, a group that advocates for the unborn, was outside Planned Parenthood on Court Street Saturday.
This Proposition 1 just added another layer of concern for us, and so it encourages us to continue with prayer. We know that God exists, we know that our prayers are heard and they are answered.
Before bringing their prayers to the streets, some pro-lifers celebrated Mass at nearby St. Charles Borromeo Church, where Father Eamon Murphy spoke about the ballot measure and encouraged parishioners to keep fighting for the unborn.
It's a moment of grace that God has given us. Many people have prayed, and many good people, so we must not waste it or think everything done. No, we have to pray for revival. We have to pray that America return back to God.
Witness for Life started the day optimistic.
Onward, Christian soldiers. We have no reason to despair.
And even with negative comments by people passing by, they know they have to be strong for the unborn.
We're getting a lot of middle fingers and people just saying nasty remarks, so we still have a lot of work to do, a lot of ground to cover.
They plan to keep coming back every second Saturday, hoping to change the hearts and minds of others.
We continue. We know that God is with us, and we see also the effect that it's having on the public, and we just continue with prayer.
The bishops of New York are committed to helping moms in need. They have a resource page designed to find a pro-life center near you. Just go to nyscatholic.org/help for moms. There's also a statewide map that directs you to local Catholic parishes that have ministries available. The election was one of the topics brought up this week during the first day of the bishops' biannual meeting in Baltimore. Prelates from around the country gathering in Mass on Monday in America's first cathedral, the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, to kick off the assembly. During their first day of sit-down meetings on Tuesday, U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops President Archbishop Timothy Broglio encouraged the bishops to try to unite the country following last Tuesday's vote.
We have just experienced national elections, and now is the time to encourage all to work together like instruments in a concert. The very capable musicians use their talents under direction to make a harmonious melody. Pope Francis characterizes the presence and action of the Holy Spirit as harmony. We all know that it is difficult to convince people to work together and to embrace the common good.
The Pope's representative to the U.S., Cardinal Christophe Pierre, also encouraged the bishops to heal fractions in our society by looking to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Joining us now to talk about the bishops' first day of meetings is the national correspondent for the Tablet and Crux, John Lavenburg, who is currently in Baltimore. Hi, John.
Hi, Katie.
John, Cardinal Pierre began his address by noting that quite a few events have happened in the church and throughout the country since the spring meeting in Louisville. What message did he give to the bishops?
Yeah, Cardinal Pierre, he really spoke on Pope Francis' recent encyclical, which emphasizes caring for others and as an extension of the personal relationship each of us are called to have with God. And he spoke on that and connected it to the National Eucharistic Congress, the Synod on Synodality, and the upcoming Jubilee in 2025 as a reminder of where the focus should be of not just the bishops, but the lay faithful around the country.
And the election has been front of mind for a few of the bishops, right?
It has. You can tell it has. And, they've spoken on it and they've been very measured in their comments. The two things they've really been emphasizing is that A, that they see their role as one of bringing people together and working with any administration as a means of advancing the common good. And two, part of their advocacy, which will continue regardless of the administration, is that of caring for the unborn, immigration, those that are poor, essentially advocating for the dignity of the human person from conception until natural death.
Looking to what the bishops will be discussing during this assembly, what are some of the big items on Wednesday's agenda?
So tomorrow will really be filled with a lot of different votes on a number of agenda items, one of those being the conference's mission directives for 2025 through 2028. That aside, though, the conference will conclude with an address from Bishop Mark Seitz of El Paso, the Immigration Committee Chair, who will talk about the immigration situation in the country, and I'm sure he'll touch on the election and President Donald Trump's second term as well.
All right, thank you so much. John Lavenburg, the National Correspondent for the Tablet and Crux. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Be sure to stay with both Currents News and the Tablet for continuing coverage of the fall meeting of bishops. Across the country, Americans celebrated those who served this Veterans Day, but one vet will soon serve both God and country. Father Andrew Dutko from the Diocese of Paterson, New Jersey, is becoming a Navy chaplain. It's a job he didn't anticipate, but neither was his vocation as a priest. For 5 years, Father Andrew Dutko has served in the Diocese of Paterson, New Jersey.
Back in 1995.
But he says once upon a time, he was on a different path of service.
My last week of protecting the president.
For much of his adult life, Father Andrew was in the Marine Corps. He met the love of his life when he went back to school for mathematics.
It took me several months, but I finally wore her down, and she agreed to go on a date with me.
He was married to Barbara for 9 years before the unspeakable happened.
We went to bed December 26th, and I woke up.
His grief turned into anger at God. He went to work as a military contractor in Afghanistan and stopped attending Mass for a month.
I'm walking around in the middle of the night, shouting the rosary, just hoping that someone would kill me.
Until an encounter with a Navy chaplain helped Father Andrew realize his calling.
I realized that God was the only thing I still found valuable, so I couldn't throw him out of my life.
Now, Father Andrew is hoping to combine both his lives of service as he is going to become a Navy chaplain. He wants to be there for the men and women who serve this country. Armed with the knowledge that 17 veterans and active military committed suicide per day in 2021.
Just by me walking around the ship, and bringing Jesus to them, just in conversation, could that have made a difference?
He knows he has a guardian angel helping him along the way.
I'm trying to live like the person she fell in love with, making her proud from heaven.
Father Andrew heads off for training on January 12th and expects to be offering pastoral care to military members by the spring. Father Andrew's service comes at a crucial time as the U.S. military is in dire need of chaplains. The Archdiocese for the Military Services of USA says while 25% of the U.S. Armed Forces is Catholic, Catholic priests only make up 7% of chaplains, with 196 priests providing pastoral care for 300,000 men and women in uniform. The Archdiocese says that this gap has been growing since aging priests are retiring faster than can be replaced. 20 veterans and active duty members spoke about their service to students at St. Francis Prep in Fresh Meadows, reminding the young people of the sacrifices made to keep America safe.
And this was a handbook for U.S. forces in Vietnam.
The school holding an assembly in the auditorium Friday before letting the veterans speak one-on-one in classrooms. Among them was Jim Barnes, a Marine veteran who served for 4 years, 13 months of which was in Vietnam during the war. While attending Marist College, he decided to enlist, motivated by his own father who served in World War II. The Queens native says he enjoys speaking about his experience in the military, and school staff believes it's eye-opening for students.
Veterans Day should not just be a day off. It should not just be a sale day. So by having our veterans here and having them speak to our students in the classrooms, having the assembly, they get a sense that this is more important than just a day off going forward.
Well, I never want the public to forget the people that served, and I think it's a great example for the people who haven't served yet. And when they see a veteran being honored, or they see a great speech, or they see an award, it thinks, well, maybe I should do something for my country.
Although Jim didn't attend St. Francis Prep, all 5 of his children did. He credits the school with giving them a good foundation in faith and for life. Students in Astoria also extending their gratitude to service members ahead of Veterans Day. The ceremony, sponsored by the Knights of Columbus, was held at Immaculate Conception Catholic Academy. It included a presentation of the colors and the reading of patriotic poems by students. Also in attendance were members of the Armed Forces, Marines, and Army. While many students across the Diocese of Brooklyn got to hear from veterans, Bay Ridge Catholic Academy also got some hands-on experience. That's Major Anthony Perlongo challenging students to a push-up challenge. The military intelligence officer with the Army National Guard was invited by the Brooklyn school to talk about his career and his training. But there was also some physical parts of his demonstration. He allowed some of the 5th through 8th graders to try on his tactical bulletproof vest. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Katie Vasquez. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.